What is our obligation towards an elderly parent who is aggressive and hurtful toward us and others?
What is our obligation towards an elderly parent who is aggressive and hurtful towards us and others? You can do nothing. He's your parent. You try, you run into blind alleys. You try, and the parent says, who is the little person trying to teach me? I gave birth to this person, he grew up with me, and now he's trying to teach me. So they don't care. They won't listen. So it's a useless attempt to try to change them or persuade them. They are who they are. They are going through their own karma. So you lead your own life and don't meddle too much with the hurtfulness or the aggressive nature of parents or anybody else, for that matter. The best rule is mind your own business, which applies to many situations. If we mind our own business, we'll be much better off. This is karmic pattern. Many of these things we see are because of old karma. A person is hurting you, he is not hurting because he wants to hurt you. He is not designing, I'm going to hurt this person. Never say that. He is feeling provoked into hurting you. Something has happened, triggered here. The actual cause is in the past. In a past life, you hurt that person. That's why he's hurting you now. Now, when paying off this kind of karma, where you are being hurt, either by a parent, by a friend, by somebody who's hurting you, or by nature, by illness, by accident, by other problem that you're having, suffering, that you're being hurt, it's no use fighting it. It will come. It's your karma. The best is to accept it as cheerfully as possible. So far as friends and parents are concerned, the best advice I can give to their children is best to keep your mouth shut. And this also applies between husband and wives when they quarrel. There was a Swami who came to Chicago and gave a talk. I like this part of his talk where he described, in answer to a question from a lady, a girl got up and said, Master, my husband and I, we fight all the time. And we argue and argue, and it leads to nothing, we just get upset, and we both lose our temper, we lose our appetite, and in anger we say, we won't eat. That's one of these ways of expressing anger. I don't like you, therefore I won't eat. Little realizing, if you don't eat, what are you doing to the other person? You're just starving yourself, but that happens. So that holy man says to that lady, I will tell you a story from India. A woman asked a Swami the same question, that we are arguing and fighting all the time in the house and the peace is not there. We want to restore peace. The holy man said, my little child, bring a bottle of water, I'll bless it. So she went and bought a bottle of water and he blessed it. He said some prayer and blessed the water and gave it back to her. She said, how often should I give it to my husband? He said, not for the husband, it's for you. And I'll tell you how to use it. When your husband starts speaking, take a sip and hold it in your mouth. It should be in your mouth and keep it in the mouth till he stops. When he stops, then swallow it. And if he starts speaking again, do it again. There'll be very much peace in the house. So instead of saying that if one party keeps quiet, the matter ends there, he gave a good example of this water bottle. So I have seen many people trying to bring water bottles to me. I thought they wanted to think I'm thirsty or something. No, it was their own use. So the best thing is not to engage in an argument that is not going to yield anything, whether with parents, whether with children, whether between spouses, or whether with other friends. The quieter you remain, the better. They say, speech is silver, but silence is golden. Then what is diamond? Running away from there. I had in one restaurant, I saw the sayings on one of the places they put placemats. And on that, one of the sayings was, speak the truth, but leave immediately after that. So these are tips given to us by these wise men, and they really bring peace in our life.